C-H inside.
Guys, I was out of my element this week. I didn't get to film around the casinos like I normally do at the Trop and the HSI. You know, I got shuttled right in and shuttled right to my seat every time and just focused on playing. I didn't focus on taking a bunch of videos. So my cutscenes in between all the hands I show over the 3 California vlogs is going to be my family vacation added in. Sort of a memory for us too. And Ocean's 11, super nice, friendly staff. Everybody seemed helpful. A lot of games going on, probably 20 plus. A lot of different variations at both casinos, the Commerce and Ocean's 11. And they accommodated the players perfectly. They had charging stations at the table. The dealer pushes a button and service will come for drinks, more chips, etc., etc. You don't have to wait around forever for a cocktail waitress, which is insane because at the Trop, they come around, but when they're on break,
Winner!
Seems like a really rough neighborhood. Dale's liquor store back here, but the gentleman I just bumped into is a super nice guy outside, so that's cool. What's up, my YouTube rail? Finally editing my second LA vlog, the session here at Ocean's 11. The Commerce vlog's only been out for a couple of days and already has 100 likes. I really appreciate that. That really strokes my ego and lets me know that I'm going in the right direction with my editing and storytelling. Now, I've worked the last 13 days in a row because I'm going to have those 3 days off for the Vloggers game in Sacramento. Live streamed July 26th, links below. I want to get this session out to you guys before I go, and hopefully the third and final session as well. This happened a few days after the Commerce. It does show that I've loosened up a little bit, didn't play quite as tight and cautious as I did at the Commerce. But obviously this was well before your guys' comments on the last vlog happened. I do appreciate all of those comments, and I know that it's going to help me improve my game for the future. Let's get on with it. So the 2-3 game was uneventful. I did just not hit any hands in half an hour, but I was mainly waiting to be called for this 5-5 game. A handful of the guys did buy in for $1,500. As you can see, I only bought in for $1,000. Very first hand, pocket aces in the hijack. It folds around to me, and I raise to $25. The cutoff to my left, 3 bets to $75, and it folds back to me. Now, if this would have been the first session, I'd probably flat call this, and I bet you guys think I'm going to flat call this. I don't know the perfect 4-bet size, but I did choose $225, to which he rather quickly made the call. The flop came King 10 7 all diamonds, and I do have the ace of diamonds. I think checking here is an option, but at the time I just wanted to bet out. I don't know the perfect number to bet out here to keep him along. You know, the only hand I'd be scared of would be a set of kings or tens. I doubt he's 3-betting me with tens. I did bet out $350, which was 3/4 of the pot. He tanked for a while and folded. Now with such a huge draw, you know, with another diamond coming, I probably could have made it smaller to keep him in. Would that have been a better play? Either way, the second session of 5-5, starting off terrific. Only a few hands in, the game all of a sudden became, do you want to straddle under the gun? We'll do 1 round. And of course, this continued the rest of the night. So a little while later, I get King Queen suited in the hijack. Under the gun has the straddle on. The low jack limped $10, and I raised to $45. The cutoff called $45. The small blind called $45. The big blind called $45, and of course, the under the gun called $45. The flop came Jack 10 7 with 2 spades. So I have the open-ended straight draw and the flush draw. It did check all the way to me. I let out because I may not make a hand, $150. The small blind folded, the big blind folded, and the under the gun player raised to $400. The guy to my right folded. It came back to me with such a draw heavy board for myself. Just like the last hand, I probably would have flatted if this were my first session at 5-5, but I'm not flatting here. With such a big raise, if I were to raise, I only have $975 behind. I'm pretty much pot committed anyways, so I go all in. Put him to the test. The cutoff folded, and the under the gun tanked for a while. He does have 1100 behind. He bought him for 1500. So whatever draw or hand he may have, does he want to risk his stack for it? Let me know if you guys think that was a good move on my part, or if I should have flatted and seen if one of my cards hit, because he ended up folding. It was still a huge play for me and a huge pot for me to take that away from him. In the end, I'm happy with it, because one of us was going to give up our stack, and if I miss, it could have been me. So we get to a hand where the big blind was the under the gun last hand, and he wouldn't straddle for $10. He did just sit down. Everybody told him that we'd been straddling for 10 the whole time, but he didn't want to do it. But the straddle's still on after him. I get king jack of clubs on the button. Middle position limped for $10, folded to me, and I raised to $45. My raises are a little bigger than the first session, but I don't know if they're big enough since there is a straddle on and the limper here. Small blind folded, and the big blind called $45. The under the gun player folded as well. And middle position called 45. Middle position is the player that I beat out of the king-queen pot. We see a queen-queen-8 two-club flop. Not a bad flop for me, considering. The big blind led out $90. Middle position called $90, and I called $90. Some backdoor draws and my flush draw. We'll peel another one off. The turn is a 5 of clubs. Boom. The big blind again bets out $125, kind of a small bet. Middle position called $125. I'm not waiting around for anything silly. I raised to $300 because I thought that covered the big blind, the initial better. He goes all in, which he evidently had $20 more. Middle position tanked for quite a while, and he finally let it go. I called the additional $20, show my flush. The river's the 8 of diamonds. Middle position pounds the table. Evidently he had a queen or an 8. Of course, shows the ace-9 of clubs, takes it down. Of all hands that beat me, probably least likely. I picked her a queen or an 8, but he still takes it down. I get moved to the main game. Straddle is still on in this game. I have ace-4 in middle position. I throw a green chip in, trying to raise to $25. Problem is, I didn't say a word, so one chip in stands as a call. So I called $10. Cutoff calls $10. The button raised to $60. The small blind and big blind both folded. Under the gun called $60. I call $60. And the cutoff folded. We see a king, queen, 7, 2 spade flop. Another big draw hand for me. Under the gun checked. I bet out $80. The button called $80. And under the gun folded. The turn's the ace of diamonds. Now I have a small made hand. Bet out $200. A little over half the pot. Still have the flush draw coming. The button called $200. The river's the 10 of clubs, missing me. I could rep a jack here and bet, but I decided to check. See what happens, but the button checked as well. He shows ace-queen for 2 pair. Winner. I doubt if I would have bet out there that he would have folded, because any amount I would have bet would have been half pot or smaller, and he's probably not folding 2 pair. He was the chip leader at the table.
Settled in a final location. It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication.
back on the downhill roller coaster, dwindling down below my starting stack. Straddle's still on by the Under the Gun player, and I'm on the button with 7-8 of diamonds. The hijack called $10. I called $10. Could have been a raise. Small blind called, the big blind called, and the Under the Gun player checks. We see a Queen 5-6, 2 diamond flop. Another draw heavy board for me. Small blind checked, the big blind checked. Under the Gun bets $30. The hijack called $30. And I still just call $30. Small blind folded, the big blind folded, and we see a 6 of hearts turn. Missing my draws. Under the Gun checked, and the hijack checked. I bet out a very small bet, half pot, $75. The Under the Gun player called, and the hijack called. The river's the 10 of clubs. Under the Gun checked, and the hijack checked. So they're not showing any strength. A bet can probably take it down. I bet a very small bet, less than half a pot, $150. If somebody were to raise, I could let it go, but I can't win this hand without betting, so I didn't want to risk too much. The problem is, with $150, anyone with a queen, even a 5, may call me. But the Under the Gun player folded and hijack folded. I took down a small pot. Getting pretty late in the night. Little roller coaster back and forth all night. I'm the straddle Under the Gun with pocket aces. +1 called $10. Middle position raised to $50. Cutoff called $50. And I put in a raise of $175. With those players in this sizing, let me know if that's an okay size raise. Small blind, big blind folded. +1 called the $175. The initial raiser didn't say he's just kidding, but he folded. He was just kidding. And the cutoff called $175. We see a Jack 8-3 rainbow flop. I bet out, half pot, $250. +1 folded, and the cutoff called $250. Queen of spades turn, bringing out a flush draw, and the cutoff is the player who's the chip leader at the time. Already $1,000 out there, I go all in. With such a draw heavy board, spades, some straights, I'm not going to let him get there. If he has me with 2 pair or set, he has me, but he folded. We took down a pretty dang good pot. Guys, that was a roller coaster of a night. +564 in 5-5, 10, because there's a 10 straddle every single time, and -48 at the 2-3 game, so a +500 and something night. Pretty great night. My favorite part was when a different table hit the jackpot. That was awesome. The bad beat, because the dealer jumping up, fist pumping, everything. That was so cool. All right, now I'm gonna make the 45-minute drive. Can't wait to show you guys this LA vlogs. So cool, so cool, so much fun. Just don't have this kind of action at home. Swings here are crazy, to say the least. So, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like the video if you haven't liked it yet. See you next time.
I picked up the cash flow. Then we played bones, and I'm yelling domino. Plus nobody I know got killed in South Central LA. Today was a good day.
And guys, don't forget about the Vloggers game next Wednesday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Pacific. Streamed on Stone's Live Twitch, and then it'll be played back on their YouTube channel.